Hi, I'm Adam,
This is Kevin.
and we are Tech Guys Who Invest. This is the place for business people and investors to learn all about investing. We offer a fresh perspective on what it's like to have a day job while investing, and we share lessons learned on our investing journey. Our vision is to educate and entertain you while adding tons of value to your daily commute. Welcome to our show.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Tech Guys Who Invest podcast, where it's our job to teach you every week how to invest wisely and safely. Now, this week we are talking about something a little bit different outside of the scope of investing, but something that's near and dear to our hearts. See, Adam and I are active investors. We are out in the trenches, if you will, finding opportunities, talking to sellers, figuring out their motivations, looking for opportunities where we're solving problems. That way we can add value and create the deals with massive returns. With that, as an active investor, and if you talk to anybody that actively invests in real estate, there's a lot that you're doing, whether it's analyzing deals, whether it's trying to raise capital, producing content, marketing to people, building relationships. There's a lot to be done on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes you will lose that momentum, especially with the holidays coming around, parties, getting together with family, going on vacation. Extended breaks tend to kind of kill the momentum, but that's okay as long as you keep going and you keep trying to restart that momentum. So on this episode, we are providing you with some ways that some techniques that we leverage to maintain our momentum that help us rebuild and continue with our progress. If there's a technique that you use that you are absolutely passionate about, please let us know. techguyswhoinvest@gmail.com. Help us be more productive. That way we can help you with more content and more ways to invest wisely and safely. Absolutely. So what's going on?
Not too much, man. Trying to get back into it after Thanksgiving.
It kind of threw me off too.
Break. It really did, man. I don't know why, but sometimes if you just totally kind of go if you like unplug completely, it can be hard to get back into it.
Absolutely.
So I'm kind of feeling that, man.
So what do you do? What do you normally do? Is there something that anchors you that helps kind of set you back in motion?
That's a good question. You know what? I need to probably articulate it better and maybe even like write it down, document it into some sort of a regiment, make a checklist or a process out of it. So
Absolutely.
I don't have to flounder for a few days before I get back in. Just start following my checklist, get myself recharged.
I love it. I do
you
the
have
same
anything?
thing. Journaling helps me. And then I do this thing called data dumping where I'm reading this book, Getting Things Done. And one of the things is basically get it out of your mind. So whatever, I was feeling so overwhelmed Sunday. When you're so overwhelmed, you just don't want to do anything.
Yes.
That's exactly how I was feeling. I was like, okay, I have so much to do. And I didn't do anything for a few hours. I kind of just prolonged it, did some things here and there, got some errands done to feel productive. And then I sat down. I said, okay, everything that's on my mind that I need to get done. And I put it down in Trello. I just said, boom, dumped it all in there. And then just went little by little. Okay, what's the priority? What can I get done right now? What will take me a long time? What needs to get moved to something else? And that helps tremendously because you get lost. You get lost in that sense of feeling overwhelmed. But I recognize that feeling overwhelmed is a byproduct of me not having enough clarity. Because as soon as I know what exactly I need to do, I just get it done. And that helps with feeling overwhelmed.
I like that. I'm going to use that. I'm going to try it out. I love to experiment and try things. So when I hear things like that, yeah, definitely. Like
absolutely.
Tim Ferriss kind of, be a guinea pig on yourself.
You have to, right? And that's the beauty of it is you learn something new and it's okay to try a bunch of different things to see what works.
Yeah. Another thing so it's interesting. I felt the same thing. I had some things as well. And there's one thing that I'm trying to do right now to test demand for a business idea I have. And just getting started with that. Like I'm trying to get a little a landing page set up and get a little system so I can test demand in the public market. And I kind of am having to learn all the little details about how to get that all set up. And I don't really
Absolutely.
enjoy that stuff, honestly. I just want it to be done, you know?
Yeah, as tech guys, I totally get it. We are tech concept guys.
Right, exactly. Not the tech guy who wants to do technical stuff. That's weird.
No, we know our limitations, we know our strengths, and then we
Yeah.
play into them.
Right
Yeah,
on,
I'm
man.
with
Like
you.
seriously, dude, I kind of feel like if I had a bunch of time to just fool around and figure it out, that would be one thing. But I don't feel like that. I feel like I need to get this thing done so I can roll it out, you know, and start figuring out what I can do to build this business. Well, I felt like when I started to get stuck, I just started to procrastinate.
Absolutely. I know exactly what you mean.
I hate that.
And it's
Oh,
just eating in the back of your mind. You're
it
thinking, okay, I
is.
know I got to get this done. Oh, but look, this needs to get done.
Here's something I can do.
Oh, that project, that home project that I've been pushing around. Yeah, I'll do that. It looks like the garage needs to be clean. I need to recategorize all my nuts and bolts.
It's almost like you're in my head. I mean, that is so what I was doing.
Yeah, I was
Oh
doing that on
man.
Sunday. It's like, oh, look, the fridge guy has to get cleaned. No, it doesn't. Not really, but it did.
But you're right though, writing that stuff down helps a lot, man. When you get it out of your head and onto paper, that helps a ton.
Yeah, I liken it to, and the book Getting Things Done talks about this too, is your brain is like RAM. It's got a limited amount of space for things that you can just hold and access quickly to like short-term memory, if you will, things you need to get done. And when you overload that, you operate in more inefficiently because your brain's just trying to sort through the mud and you're sinking. It feels like you're sinking. It feels like you're drowning, whatever analogy you want to use. And that's why just putting it out somewhere, talking out loud, writing it down is huge for that. And in the book, he talks about it doesn't matter where you put it. Just be consistent and simplify it. Don't get too crazy with this system. It needs to go here, which is going to trigger this. No, just put it out somewhere. If you like writing, then write it. For me, I like having an app that goes across my laptop, my phone. That way it's like, oh, if I'm at the store and something pops up, then I need to write that down somewhere instead of just storing it in my head because I'm going to forget it.
Do you use Evernote?
I have in the past, but more so for just the ideas of capturing line items quickly. I like Trello for that because I can see it in the list, then I can drag it and drop it on a whiteboard.
Nice thing about Trello is its simplicity.
Absolutely.
We use Trello for work all the time.
Because if it can get complex, I'm going to turn it complex and complicated.
See, that's another problem I have that I think sometimes delays me or kind of prevents me from getting as far as I could, because I will insist on having all of these things laid out. And it's like, oh, well, if I want that, I have to use Evernote. And if I use Evernote, I have to have my Snap scanner set up to be able to recognize those and scan it in. And then I got to get this, and then I got to get that app and this app and this app and getting it all connected. And the next thing you know, I've delayed myself from getting started.
Nothing's gotten done.
Right.
And it's just like a not self-fulfilling prophecy, but you're just like, oh my goodness, you just pissed off with yourself and nothing gets done. Then you get upset that nothing got done. Then you're upset with yourself. Yeah, it just doesn't go well. And one way I was thinking about what we were talking with as being an investor, there are 3 Ds in the book, Getting Things Done. It's, I think, do it, defer it, and delegate it. It's probably not the order that it's written in the book, but those are important things to recognize when you have a bunch of stuff that you have to do, especially coming back from a break or the next break for Christmas, for example, and New Year's. It's weird that they're in the middle of the week, but I'm sure people are going to take maybe just that entire week off. And when you take that week off, chances are you're just going to want to sit, and that's okay. But when you come back, recognize it's going to be, you're like, oh my God, I have to build momentum back up. And doing it is if you can do the task in 2 minutes or less, just get it done. And that may be sending an email out to somebody texting your VA, or whatever it may be. Deferring it. If it's not worth your time, delegate it. If it's not worth your time and you know somebody else that can do it better, or somebody that can do it um, in a cheaper fashion, speaking in opportunity cost, then delegate that. Deferring it is if it's not necessary to do right at this moment. If there's something else that can be prioritized above it, move on to something else.
Yeah, I like that. I took a few of those things away from that book. The biggest thing I took away from the book is the things you mentioned about just writing it down, getting it out of your head and writing it down. I found that was extremely helpful. But then this thing you're talking about now, I also took the piece about if you can do it right away, if it takes less than a couple of minutes, go ahead and just do it. I took that away as well. And I've sort of been using both of those concepts since I read the book. You know how it is when you read a book that has so many things in it, you can only take a limited number away. Usually it's one or two things from a big
Absolutely.
book. Those are the couple I took away. And I feel like they have helped me a lot.
100%. And that's another thing too. When you read a book or if you take a class, you're not going to grab everything that you learned from it. It might be something here or there, and then that you just kind of keep learning things and keep trying things, keep doing, and then eventually maybe something from that book or from the class that you took on real estate or any type of investing eventually connects. That's what I'm noticing. It's like, oh yeah, my brain starts to make a subconscious connection between I learned this here and it applies here. And if I do this, it affects this. And it's interesting how that works out.
Yeah, it is. I like to use frameworks. I do that in my day job as well.
And what are
So
frameworks?
they're kind of like a skeleton or a sort of like a basic set of rules or tools you can use that you can build off of to make your own. And something about what you said just reminded me of that. So like the getting things done system, if you sort of take like the basic skeleton of that and then the way you do some of those things or the way you implement them is kind of custom to you, and it ties to some other things you've learned, a different system that complements it. Then you're just kind of using those skeletons, the structure to put together, and then you're fleshing them out to make them Kevin's process and Kevin's system and how you do things.
Yeah, it's almost like learning an applicable skill and then applying it and tweaking it to fit your life, your investor journey, that type of thing.
Yeah, and that's kind of interesting that the conversation is taking this turn, because I was thinking about this just this week as well, how everyone kind of everyone's journey is different, I guess is one way to think about it. However you start, and we all think about a lot of the same things about what we'd like to invest in and how we'd like to learn and what's important for us to learn along the way and what we need to learn, because I need to learn different things than you do. And
Right.
everyone's unique, right? And everyone's journey kind of takes a unique path. But I was thinking how much I enjoy helping people who struggle with some of the same things I do get past those things, because I can relate to them. Like for example, one of the things I was thinking about are some of my limiting beliefs. And for people who have similar limiting beliefs, like maybe deep down they think, I'm not sure I could ever do something that big, or I'm not sure that I could ever make that kind of thing happen. I like to help them get past it the same way I did, And then there are other people like Chris Salerno, who we just had on recently, who, man, those guys just shoot for the stars. And it seems like their appetite for taking those things on is just so huge.
Yeah.
Everyone's different, right?
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. That there's an interesting psychology behind those people where they're just swinging, and it's so interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool.
But not everybody's built like that. And I think there's a sense of self-awareness that you will develop as you go through with these things. And you have to be honest with yourself. Are you meant to do that, or is that play to your strengths? And it's okay that it doesn't. There's so many avenues that you can make money. There's so many things to learn, so many ways that you can invest, and knowing what you think you'll excel at, knowing what you enjoy, I think is also something to consider when it comes to figuring out what it is you want to invest in.
Yeah, well said.
All right. So to wrap up this conversation that we're having, I do think that it will be easy to get overwhelmed with trying to rebuild your momentum, and it's okay. Just get it out of your head, find some way to write it down, whatever that may be. If you need some type of a direction, not sure where to go, reach out to us. We'd love to be able to help you. We are passionate educators, and that's why we have this platform, is to share these thoughts, ideas, and ideally inspire people to take action to invest, because we believe that investing is the single greatest action you can take to build wealth and achieve financial freedom. So don't be afraid to reach out, techguyswhoinvest@gmail.com.
That's it for this episode of Tech Guys Who Invest. This is Adam.
And this is Kevin. Thank you so much for listening to us. Don't forget to join our Facebook page, where we're building a community of investors so that we can share ideas, tips, and other ways to help us get out of the rat race. If you found value in this podcast, it would mean the world to us if you could share it with your network. Lastly, we love feedback. It's how we get better. So if you wouldn't mind spending 30 seconds and leaving us an honest review on iTunes or Stitcher or whatever platform you're using, that would be super sweet. If you want to get on Adam or Kevin's calendar, go to tgwipodcast.com/contact. We want to help you invest safely, wisely, and ultimately get you out of the rat race. Thanks again.